Once upon a time, in the land of Israel, there was born a boy named Yitzhak. He was born in the ancient city of Jerusalem, where the hills glow golden in the afternoon sun. Yitzhak was a quiet boy. He was thoughtful, he loved to read, and he loved to learn. And he loved the land. He loved the flowers and the trees and the people. And when he grew older, he decided he wanted to be a farmer. And he was going to go to school to learn how to plant trees and grow food and help the land bloom again after so many years. But before he could realize his dream to become a farmer, there was danger. There were enemies who wanted to destroy the young land of Israel. And so Yitzhak had no choice but to put down his shovel and become a soldier. Yitzhak didn't like fighting, but he knew he had to protect his home. He had no other choice. And he became a strong and careful leader, a general who worked to keep his people safe. And when the fighting ended, Yitzhak would always say, "The best victory is peace." Years passed, and Yitzhak became the prime minister of Israel. And even then, he never forgot his dream of planting instead of fighting. He wanted children, both in Israel and in neighboring countries, to grow up without fear. So he did something very hard, and he did something very brave. He met with leaders who had always been enemies. He talked, and he listened, and he hoped. When he signed the Oslo Peace Accords, Yitzhak Rabin said, "You don't make peace with your friends. You make peace with your enemies." Many people were filled with joy and hope that peace was finally coming. But some people were angry and afraid. They didn't believe peace could happen. And one very sad day, a man, a fellow Jew even, hurt Yitzhak badly, and Yitzhak died. And the whole country cried. Children, soldiers, and leaders around the world mourned the man who dreamed of peace. But Yitzhak's dream did not die. It lives in all of us who still believe in peace, who listen with kindness, who keep trying even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Things have not turned out the way young Yitzhak dreamed, but the Jewish people have never given up, not for 3,000 years. We've never given up on our dream to be a free people in our own land, Lihiot Am Chovshi Be'artzeinu, living in peace with others and fulfilling the vision of the prophets. V'yashvu ish tachat gafno v'tachat te'enato ve'ein macharid. And every person shall sit under their vine and fig tree, and no one shall be afraid. This Shabbat is the Yahrtzeit of the death of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Many of us remember exactly where we were when we first heard about that terrible, terrible moment. I was actually living here in Los Angeles, and I was in synagogue. And it was before smartphones and those kinds of things, and there were murmurs, and pretty soon we heard the news. I'll never forget that moment. So on this Shabbat, as we remember Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and his dream of planting and sowing peacefully, I want to leave you all with a few questions to consider, not just for our first graders, but for everybody and for those of you at home as well. What are some ways that we can honor the legacy of a leader like Yitzhak Rabin? How can we have the courage to pursue peace with our enemies? Because as he reminded us, we don't make peace with our friends. We make peace with our enemies. How can we have the courage to pursue peace, especially at moments like this when we're still traumatized and reeling from all of the pain and sadness we've experienced? On a more personal and local level, how can we make peace in our own community, in our own families? When we see strife on the playground or in the parking lot or on social media, how can we be a peacemaker? How can we do so even in moments when we're talking with someone with whom we disagree, with whom we see things so differently? Is there a way that we can make peace? Can we find shalom with those folks as well? How can we have loving, respectful relationships and conversations with those with whom we disagree? That is the legacy of Yitzhak Rabin, to have vision and courage, to be rodfei shalom, people who chase always after peace. Yehi zichro baruch, may his memory be for a blessing, and may we continue to be inspired by his legacy. Ken yehi ratzon.